You can stand in the middle of a dense city crosswalk, surrounded by hundreds of people, and still feel completely invisible. Physical crowding often creates a deep psychological isolation. Long before smartphones and modern urban sprawl, people were searching for a way to treat this specific kind of detachment. And one of the most effective psychological blueprints for mental healing was written over 200 years ago, William Wordsworth's poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Wordsworth's prescription required stepping out of the concrete and into the sweeping, open landscapes of the English Lake District. Here, the natural world served as a direct mechanism for fixing the human mind. The Romantic poets of the 19th century drafted early manuals for human mindfulness. They recognized that interacting with nature was a vital survival skill for a rapidly industrializing world. We can trace this idea back to April 15, 1802. Wordsworth lived a deeply humble, nature-immersed life here at Dove Cottage, actively rejecting the rigid, artificial society of his era. The inciting incident for his most famous masterpiece actually came from his sister, Dorothy. She possessed an incredibly acute, microscopic ability to observe the world around her. After a walk together on a highly stormy day, Dorothy sat down and wrote a private entry in her diary, the Grassmere Journal. She documented a long belt of wildflowers fighting the wind, noting rawly that they tossed and reeled and danced. Wordsworth absorbed Dorothy's raw, immediate observations. He spent years meticulously refining her diary entry into a sharp tool for philosophical rebellion. I wandered lonely as a cloud. That opening simile perfectly captures a state of aimless depression. A cloud floating high above the hills is physically severed from life on the ground, mirroring a human mind totally detached from the world. This isolation is shattered by a sudden discovery, a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. He uses social words on purpose. These flowers form a welcoming, energetic community, offering an immediate remedy to his solitary drift. In the second stanza, Wordsworth executes a massive philosophical leap. He zooms out, comparing the continuous line of flowers along the lake to the endless stars shining across the Milky Way. To push the scale of this energy, he writes, 10,000 saw I at a glance. This is a hyperbole, a deliberate poetic exaggeration. A human eye cannot literally count 10,000 flowers in a second, but the exaggeration translates his overwhelming awe to the reader. By connecting a simple earthly weed to the stars, he argues the vibrant energy driving those flowers is the exact same force powering the universe. Wordsworth didn't write the poem at the lake. He wrote it in 1804, 2 full years later. He envisions himself lying on his couch in a pensive, mildly depressed mood, miles away from the water. This diagram illustrates the core of his psychological theory, the inward eye. It is a metaphor for the human imagination acting as a mental projector, allowing a person to recall and replay past joy in times of present darkness. To lock this memory into place, the poem's source code relies on an ABABCC rhyme scheme. This means the first and third lines rhyme, the second and fourth rhyme, and the stanza finishes with a rhymed couplet. This rhythmic pattern acts as a mnemonic device, embedding the imagery permanently in the brain. He then relies heavily on personification, the literary tool of giving human traits to non-human things. By describing the flowers as dancing and tossing their heads, he translates the physical wind into a contagious emotional energy. The human brain operates as an active processor, not a passive sponge. It can take a fleeting sensory experience from years ago and synthesize it into an on-demand therapeutic medicine for today's grief. Notice the shift in his emotional state. The poem begins with loneliness, a painful, involuntary separation from society. It ends with solitude, a deliberate, peaceful, and entirely self-sufficient state of joy. This aligns perfectly with the Romantic concept of pantheism. Pantheism is the belief that nature operates as a conscious, divine entity, capable of actively healing the human spirit. Wordsworth leaves us with a highly practical call to action. We survive modern anxieties by gathering mental wealth. We accumulate this wealth through intentional, deep observation of the natural world. The poem endures because it proves that human beings possess an incredible internal power. If we simply pay attention to the life outside our doors, our memories can comfort us in our darkest moments, allowing our own hearts to dance with the daffodils.